Why should voters send you to work in Columbus?
Voters should send me to work in Columbus because I believe that I will do a better job of representing them. I am a social worker. I know how to listen to people. I know how to get to the bottom of what issues are, what conflicts are, and I bring a problem-solving approach to that. I think that I would be representing the majority of folks and not just a narrow, extreme slice of folks.
Northwest Ohio is dealing with issues relating to water and algae in Lake Erie. How will you advocate for clean water?
I know that the major cause of the algae blooms in Lake Erie comes from the production of the waste from the concentrated animal farms. That has not been addressed by the H2O Ohio program, unfortunately. That has a lot of good things about it, which I would want to keep, but until the CAFOs are held responsible for having water treatment plants on site to neutralize the waste that they are producing that ends up in Lake Erie, we're not going to solve this problem in a solid way.
The opioid epidemic is hurting the city of Toledo in many ways. What is your plan to solve or at least reduce the amount of overdoses in the city?
I believe that we do need more treatment beds. We need more of a focus on treatment as opposed to criminality. Sheriff Tharp did a lot of good in destigmatizing that and looking at opioid use as the addiction that it is instead of looking at it as a crime. I think that the new jail that happens to be in the works should have a separate section for people to start detox, to start to get treatment, and that should be afforded folks after they hopefully don't even get caught up in the criminal justice system in a permanent way, but that they have easy access to treatment.
What should be done to ensure that Ohioans in the district you're running to represent have access to adequate health care?
I personally believe that we do need a universal healthcare system in Ohio. With a supermajority of Republicans, that's not likely. So I would work on incremental changes that could be implemented on the state level. Access is one thing, but quality is another. We definitely need more focus on prevention services, on education, and I would look to make that a priority rather than an afterthought.
Many have lost their jobs due to the pandemic's impact on small businesses and large businesses. What is your plan to bring back a strong economy?
A lot of that depends on what happens at the federal level. I know that there is a thing called NIB, the National Infrastructure Bank Bill, which I hope gets passed in the federal level. That would free up money for 25 million new jobs, and Ohio would be able to benefit from that. There would be, as the first provision, internet broadband access for rural communities. And it also does have money for making water treatment plants on those CAFOs. So I would hope that that money would be available to flow into the district and into Ohio to replace the jobs that people have lost during the pandemic.
Recently, former Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder was arrested for his role in a bribery scandal. What needs to change in Columbus to root out corruption?
On a federal level, Citizens United needs to be overturned, but on a local level in Ohio, there needs to be a concentrated effort to make it not a one-party situation. The gerrymandering that has ensured a 2/3 majority of one party that does not accurately represent the constituents and allows the legislators to do what they want without accountability to the people in their districts has to change. And that would be dependent on, I think, getting a Democratic majority on the Ohio Supreme Court so that when those districts are redrawn after the 2020 census, it would be more fairly representing the 52% of people that vote Republican in Ohio and the 48% that vote Democratic. When you have a fully functioning two-party system, there can be checks and balances, and corruption is not nearly as able to take hold and flourish as it has under the supermajority that exists in Columbus now.
How are you still reaching out to voters with COVID-19 top of mind?
That has been difficult. We are going to be going canvassing and doing contactless lip drops today. We were out in Sylvania yesterday. I will be at the Fall Festival for Sylvania people. So the art walks in Sylvania, I'm going to Olander Park and talking to people there. Any public venue where people are congregating and have masks and we can kind of be outside in a safe distance, that's where we're looking for opportunities to have those one-on-one conversations with people. But, mail, postcards, signs, the typical stuff.
If voters choose to elect you, what policies will you advocate for on their behalf?
There's two areas that I think my incumbent has not been willing to listen to the majority view. The first one is gun safety measures. 90% of Ohioans want universal background checks on all gun sales that are happening now on the internet, eBay, Craigslist. Those people can buy guns without any kind of background checks, and overwhelmingly 90% of Ohioans want that. I would advocate on their behalf to make that happen so that we could close that gun loophole. I also believe that women's reproductive rights have not been paid attention to. The majority view is that Roe v. Wade was rightly decided. 67 to 70% of people in the country and in Ohio want that to stand. And I would advocate for refunding Planned Parenthood so that adequate birth control services were available to people, so that abortion would be much less necessary than it is if people don't have free and access to affordable birth control and accurate sexual information.
Is there anything else you want residents of Ohio's 47th district to know?
I want them to know that they have a choice, that most of us, myself included, have not paid enough attention to what's happening at the state level. And it is vitally important to pay attention to local elections, to state elections. We can't have that as an afterthought either. These affect your life on a day-to-day basis, much more so than what happens on a federal level. So I want people to go to my website, nancyfor.us, nancyfor.us. You can find all the information that you need to make an informed choice. And if I represent what you think, then vote for me, please.
Ohio's 47th district state representative candidate, Nancy Larson, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Jaden. It's really nice to see you again.
Thank you. Nice to see you.